At the February 18th Grand Traverse County Board meeting, commissioners are being asked to officially move Project Alpha from planning into construction, a decision that would commit the county to what could be a $27 to $28 million investment. Once contracts are signed and construction begins, taxpayers are locked into long-term financial obligations that will shape budgets, county operations, and infrastructure for decades. This vote isn't just about a building. It's about growth, fiscal discipline, and how county leadership envisions the future of Grand Traverse County. Let's listen to some of the details with Traverse Talks host Jim Horn.
All right, folks, here is the big story coming out of the Grand Traverse County Board meeting on February 18th. That's over at 400 Boardman. Starts at 9 a.m. if you're interested. So what's going on? This is what I would call the big elephant in the room. The board is being asked to officially move Project Alpha into construction, and this is just it's not another agenda item. This is the moment when a long-planned project shifts from talk to concrete, literally. For months, and in some cases years, Project Alpha has been in the planning and design phase, and this podcast has followed it for the last couple of years. And the commissioners are now being asked to authorize construction, approve a formal construction management agreement, and allow the chair, and that's Commissioner Seifert, to sign the official AIA contract. So what does that mean in plain English? This is the green light. Once this vote happens, the county is financially and operationally committed. So what this really means is we're going to be moving to construction, and that's significant for three reasons. First, money. This is probably one of the biggest debt obligations that this county has undertaken. And when a county moves from planning to construction, the largest expenses really begin then. Design work is one thing, breaking ground is another. This is going to lock in costs that will likely stretch across multiple budget years. Second, the timeline. Construction projects don't move quietly. They're going to affect traffic, surrounding properties, county operations, and public access depending on what's being built and the timeliness of that construction. And third, I think this is the most important thing, accountability. Once contracts are signed, taxpayers, you and I folks, Grand Traverse County people, expect progress, transparency, and discipline on cost control. So this is on a special order of business, and that's extremely interesting. That's not routine. That signals priority. And when something is separated out like that, it tells you that this isn't just another approval buried in the consent calendar. This is a major policy and financial step. And that's why I called it the elephant in the room. He has now opened the door, and he will be there at the county commissioners meeting. So here are the questions I'll be watching. How much is the total projected cost? I believe the estimates that I heard were $27 to $28 million. Might be a little bit more, a little bit less. And is this budgeted, fully budgeted already, or will it require future adjustments? What contingency planning is built in for inflation or material cost increases? That's always a problem, especially with the tariff arrangements we have with Canada and so forth and some other countries. And what's the long-term operational impact once construction is complete? Will this reduce costs somewhere else? How about service delivery, improve service delivery, consolidate departments, or is it responding to growth pressures in the county? And I really think that's the major issue. We've got a lot of growth pressures here in Grand Traverse County. So those are the angles that are really going to matter to us as residents. Grand Traverse County has been growing. Population shifts, housing pressure, infrastructure demands, all of that feeds into why major capital projects come forward. And that means that Project Alpha doesn't exist in isolation. It reflects how the county sees its future, because when they take a look at a project like this, hoping those buildings will last another 30, 40, or maybe even 50 years after they're built. And when local government builds something significant, as I said, it really signals long-term planning, and it's really not short-term politics. And now the fiscal responsibility angle. That's extremely important. Now, to be fair, moving forward with construction doesn't necessarily mean something controversial is going to happen, but this is the stage where fiscal oversight becomes critical. Construction projects across the country have struggled with cost overruns, especially governmental projects. We have supply chain delays. All of a sudden, the scope changes, and we have, hopefully not, add-ons that were part of or weren't part of the original vision. So this is the moment when commissioners have to ask tough questions before the ink dries and before Commissioner Seifert signs on. So if you live in Grand Traverse County, why does this matter? Large county projects are funded by public dollars. They influence property tax discussions, they impact county services, and shape the physical footprint of local government for decades. This isn't just about a building or buildings, it's about long-term priorities. So we're going to be back to you on February 18th, if you're there, or if you're watching on the TACM channel. Here's what to watch closely. If the board votes yes, Project Alpha officially transitions from planning documents to physical construction. And that's a major milestone. This is the kind of vote that doesn't get a lot of flash, but carries long-term consequences. And we're going to continue following the details as more financial and timeline specifics become available. Because once construction begins, the clock starts ticking. So that's the story to watch this week at Grand Traverse County Board of Commissioners. And as always, we'll break it down so you don't have to read through 300 packages of agenda packet. And that's about what it was. Stay tuned, folks, and have a great rest of the week.